It's 11:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
And welcome everybody to our Daily Gun Show. We come to you live every day at noon Eastern. That's 9 a.m. Pacific for about an hour or 90 minutes each day. We run it live on YouTube. We simulcast it over at gunchannels.com, where we're watching the comments from the people that are watching the show live. We do appreciate that interest in the show and people that are able to show up live. We're kind of cutting new grounds with early morning time slot like this. The concept was to free up some the afternoon time slot that we had, and to kind of get the morning time more active over here on Gun Channels and just on, just the chatter on the web, some daytime chatter. So we appreciate everybody that's showing up live. We do 3 gun-related topics each day, different topics throughout the week. Every once in a while, we'll take the audio from the show and we'll post it up on iTunes as a podcast. We appreciate everybody that follows us on the various platforms out there, and the people that take the time to like or share or give us a thumbs up for the various videos and podcasts and shows. All of that, it gives us some encouragement as people, as hosts. It's great to see people out there, but it also helps on the platforms to keep our show recommended to other listeners, and that's one of our goals. So we really do appreciate the people that take the time to participate in those platforms, and it's good practice because the more stuff you click, you like, that you share, it's really good practice to be in, because of the more gun-related stuff that's out there shared, the more relevant we are, and the less susceptible we are to them attempting to bully us as a community. So I think it's a good effort, and appreciate the people that work on it. So there's hosts. Just 2 of us could be bothered to show up today. So Dimmy, thanks for running the show out in Phoenix.
Hey, yeah, good to be here.
And I'm out here at Marco's place in basically DC. So I was wondering, have you heard, is Angry back? Or is he in Arizona already?
I believe that he is here. Heavy is probably going to stop by here sometime this afternoon, him and Angry. So I believe he's here just settling in.
Right on. Looking forward to seeing it. Y'all end up having a bunch of Gun Channels people all living in Phoenix. Pretty cool. All right, well, so today is episode 402. We buzzed past episode 400. Do we even do anything about it?
No, I was gonna make a little snarky remark, but yeah, we were too busy with the show. So
was that the? It wasn't the NRA show.
No, that was 401 Monday. Friday was the show 400.
Okay, and Friday was just in. Oh, was I in on Friday? Was I in Scranton? I don't even remember.
I'm trying to remember.
Friday must have been driving towards out there. So I think I did it from the entrance of the gun shop in Detroit. Could that be? Could be. Yeah, it's been a crazy couple of last days, driving a lot, trying to get to that castle. But anyway, it's episode 402 today, even though we blew right past the 40 show. I see how it is. We'll do something about that. 402, though, I don't know if that's anything. Formula 402 is some kind of cleaner, isn't it? So we should keep this tidy.
Yeah, keep it clean.
There'll be Second Amendment issues today. State of the state, and looks like it's Alaska. And then we have a wild card topic. We don't have a topic today, huh? So if anybody's listening and wants to throw a topic out there, that's the way we roll on Tuesdays. And then, of course, the stuff we do on a daily basis, like the gun shop and the gun movie and the gun of the day and all that. Even though Bob's not here, we'll figure it out. So I guess we've already been doing it, but before we start the show, we usually take a break, see if anything happened overnight. Anything we're talking about? Like a nerd chat about video games. I didn't even get an invite. No links given, so I didn't even have a chance to be in there.
Yeah, Matt had his video game thing. Yeah. What else? What other chats were going on last night?
Well, HVS had a chat after.
Oh yeah, lock and load. Yeah, that's just a little. That's like when I'm in my relaxing mode. I'm too late for me. And then we had the van chat, or the not the van chat, loophole chat. So,
Loophole update. So tried to update some stuff. I need to do another one because I had somebody ask why loophole, why I call it the loophole tour. So I'd like to do a chat to address that. And then yeah, there was something else. I was doing something this morning and saw that. Oh, you know what? I had posted about the NRA museum this morning on Instagram, right? And I've been doing that thing where you take multiple pictures and cram them into one post, so you have to swipe back and forth. That way, you know, people can see a bunch of pictures that I took the other day, stills during the videos that I took yesterday. And I posted that, and somebody had posted or commented in there that they live in Tulsa and had never been to the J.M. Davis Museum and were asking if that was a good museum to go to. And I couldn't believe that because I'm such an advocate for that museum. I would think that people were sick of me telling you to go to that museum already. And this guy must be new or something because he's asking me if it's a good museum, or maybe he's trolling me. And then some other guy comes along and says, yeah, my wife lives there, and her mother-in-law or his mother-in-law has been bugging him to go to this museum because he's going to like it, but he's never gotten around to it. I'm like, what? There's two people that live there next to the best museum ever. And they're like, yeah, I never got around to going. And yeah, it's way over there. Yeah, look at how big that parking lot is. Crazy. So anyway, I figured I'd do a couple of updates to talk about the tour, why it's called that, and then, yeah, for crying out loud, go to the J.M. Davis Firearms Museum already.
Yeah, that's nuts that people are living right by it and still don't even know about it.
I was thinking about that too. I don't know if it was you and I or somebody was talking about, you know, you take for granted the place you live, and you know, I was driving through something the other day. I think it might have even been New York, and it was just a pristine, you know, like an oil painting type of situation where the road we're on kind of goes down and curves, and you can kind of see it in the rolling hills going down to a valley and then back up the other side, and it's real picturesque, and the leaves are all turning and everything. And you know, I'm driving at 60 trying to save on fuel, right? Save on gas mileage. And these people are all blowing past me at 75, and I'm thinking, you know, they see this every fall, every day, every, you know, season. So it's nothing to them, but you know, it's that person that isn't familiar with it that takes the time to appreciate it. And that's one of those things that we're always told, right? I'm sure people drive back and forth between Arizona, Phoenix and Tucson that I could care less about even looking to the side of the road, and they're probably super impressed with the, you know, the landscape and the skylines.
Well, yeah, I think I think that's where the conversation kind of started from, because I was driving down in Phoenix, and there's this one gun shop that I used to like to go to, but I just couldn't make it there because of, you know, travel. So I went there one day and they were closed down. I was like, you know, I took that place for granted. Like, I should have been there more. I should have advocated for it more. Should have posted more pictures, got it out there on social media. You know, I might have been able to do something.
I was thinking about that too. And what if we, you know, we always talk about what to buy or whatever. We like to spend everybody's money. I'm a big fan of that. So what if we made a whole list of things that we can buy for people, a list of things to pick up every time you're in a gun shop, you know, something to look for. Maybe those foam earplugs. I mean, that's weak, but if you only got $1 or something in your pocket, at least you're leaving them some money, making it worth their while to hold the light, you know, have the lights on for that hour.
Yeah, right.
You know, if it's something like a small cleaning kit as a gift, you know, I've been thinking of it, I guess, more because we have a Patreon level where people jump in. 3 people now have jumped in at the $50 level, and for that $50, I buy $25 worth of stuff for you at gun shops that I frequent, you know, when we're out driving on the tour. That way, your money, your power is being sprinkled out there, all these different gun shops, in the, you know, in the manner of a purchase here and there, a little purchase. So I've been looking at stuff, and I assume people would appreciate to get, you know, a couple of little things that are maybe of less value than one $24.99 item, right? So I've been looking at small stuff, and then I'm thinking, this is the kind of stuff that people could be dropping, you know, $5, you know, if you're, especially some of these places are out in the middle of nowhere. So, you know, you're only going to that shop occasionally, you know, or you're only getting there once in a while. And if you're only going there occasionally, I mean, I've also been experiencing people dropping $5 on a thing of water downtown. So if you're willing to drop $5 when you didn't prepare and bring a thing of water on your own, then consider dropping $5 at a shop, right? So there's all kinds of little things. Not enough shops have patches, which I think would be great, or some kind of logo merchandise that they could sell. Maybe give it to you when you buy a gun, but have it for sale, because that's the kind of stuff that allows a customer who appreciates your shop to leave you $5 and or leave you $2 or whatever it might be. But maybe they have patches for the local gun rights organization or the national gun rights organizations or the state flag or something. Again, something you can buy for a couple of bucks, put some markup on it, and let customers leave some money in your store. But as a customer's end, we can look at stuff that is under $10. Maybe come up with a big list of stuff that's under $10. Maybe even a list from people like me under $5. I'm not rich, but I'll leave $5 at a gun shop if it is worth them keeping their lights on. Like you say, how many times do we drive by and nothing? And we just, I wish I would have gone in there, but and it was still open.
Yeah, exactly. Especially if they're one of those little hole in the walls that have really cool stuff.
All right. Well, that was something I was thinking about too from that conversation. But I guess let's dig into the show already. Are we getting any comments out there? Let's see. Do I even have my stuff open? I really do appreciate you running the show, man. It would not be possible for me to remember to do all this stuff when I'm driving, and even like this when I'm not driving. I'm all rusty now. I wouldn't have had it all set up. So thanks for doing all that.
Okay, no problem, man. This is the Daily Gun Show.
I don't know. I'm taking all that back. You're a horrible producer.
Let's see. Yeah, I'm not getting much on YouTube over here. Let's see on the gun channel side.
So when I'm just watching the show, not while I'm in the show, I'm also watching it because I'm not running it today. So I'm just going into gun channels, and we've got the Daily Gun Show right there at the top left of the main page when you log in, and it's pretty much got all the people that do live shows there, and Heavy, who doesn't do a live show, who just steals a spot up there. And I click on that. That takes me over to our Daily Gun Show page over on Gun Channels. And then I click on the video itself that Jimmy embedded earlier today, which you could just watch there. But then when you click on the video on our Gun Channels page there, it'll say YouTube. It used to be the YouTube logo. Now it's just the YouTube words, the letters that spell out YouTube. When you click on that, it'll open up. It'll open up the YouTube video. So now I can watch the comments coming in from YouTube as well. So. People that weren't aware, we broadcast this on YouTube only because YouTube's given us free service, right? They're letting us broadcast this to, a bunch of people and let 10 people jump in. But really, we're doing it over for Gun Channel. So we have it embedded over there. And that's where we're watching the chats for the Gun Channels members that are watching. Black Forest ham on pretzel bed. What are they talking about?
I don't know. I like that above it, that wild card topic though.
Okay. All right. Well,
so you want to dig this in Second Amendment?
Yeah. Second Amendment issues. Disarm Hate Act. Wait, what is this? Go ahead. What is this?
Yeah. So this is hang on a second. I'm gonna pull it up real quick. This is a new bill that is being introduced. It is HR 2841, and it is the Disarm Hate Act. So what it is for, let's see the state. So this is referred to the Subcommittee on Crime, Terrorism, Homeland Security, and Investigations. Disarm Hate Act. This bill amends the Federal Criminal Code to prohibit firearm sale or transfer to and receipt or possession by any individual who has 1, been convicted in any court of a misdemeanor hate crime, or 2, received from any court on enhanced hate crime misdemeanor sentences. The term convicted in any court of a misdemeanor hate crime means a conviction for a misdemeanor offense that has as an element that the conduct was motivated by hate or bias of the actual perceived race, color, religion, national origin, gender, sexual orientation, gender identity, or disability of any person. And that was introduced to the House 6/8/2017.
Okay, so that's a New York or that's federal?
This is 115th Congress HR. So it looks federal. I think it's federal.
Okay, and then so what's our topic about it?
No, it was just a new bill that's going in that they're going to be looking at that's anti-gun, I guess.
Oh, maybe when I was switching over to the phone, I missed the part about the guns. I thought it was just an equal rights type of thing. So how does it, where's the guns fit into it?
The bill amends federal criminal code to prohibit firearm sale or transfer to and receipt or possession by an individual who has been convicted in any court of a misdemeanor hate crime, or two, received from any court an enhanced hate crime misdemeanor sentence.
Oh, okay. So it's basically adding hate crime to the misdemeanor. Would you stop it, to the domestic violence thing?
Well, yeah, but see, the reason why I wanted to bring that up kind of was because of the whole, I forgot, I think it was maybe California and New York, but I think it was California, where if you mispronoun somebody, that you can be charged. I don't know if it was a felony or misdemeanor, but a hate crime.
Oh,
almost easy.
Sort of like if you're peeing in a alley or something and it's near enough a school, it's a sex offense or something. So it's one of those things where you're worried about a combo attack where, oh, I didn't know it. You looked at me cross-eyed, and that's, in my community, that's a hate crime. And now all of a sudden, for something you didn't even realize, you're convicted of something that prevents you from owning a firearm.
Yeah, well, it was the same thing too with that. Moon was saying New York City, for the bill. So that's the same thing as that. What's the domestic violence one too? Where they're reiterating their domestic violence charges or whatever. Let's see. Yeah, so if you're convicted of it, you immediately have to give up possession of your guns for domestic violence.
See, that's interesting. So I was talking to the guy from Citadel in Pennsylvania that helped me out with going to New York, and he would talk about. Hopefully, we'll get him on the show because he's got a lot of interesting stories and info from New York. But one of the things he brought up was a story of a guy. I believe they were just, him and his wife were having an issue, and the police showed up. And they said, I'll tell you what, because of the situation, why don't we just go ahead and take your rifles and you can come pick them up in a week when everything's cool. Hello?
Yep.
I guess it cut out.
Okay, yeah, we lost you right there.
Okay, so I don't know where it cut out. He was telling me a story about a situation similar to where kind of a slippery slope where because of this, which is in, what was that? Helicopters around here. That's probably DB going home. Flies up to DC, mix records, goes down to Georgia. So a slippery slope where something that's supposed to be not supposed to be too damaging gets mixed up with something that or gets added later, and all of a sudden it's a 1-2 punch. Am I not connected?
Oh, I hear you. I was just opening up another tab here. Yeah, but that 1-2 punch you're talking about, though, that's what they're trying to do to like is it just another way to like kind of circumvent banning guns and just adding on to the definition of criminal, or I don't know.
Definitely, I think so. If it's unintended, then they're ignorant, and if it's intended, then they're devious. So either way, it's hurting people, and it's under the guise of being anti-hurting people or whatever, not hurting people. So it's definitely bad. I'm thinking that I don't know if we don't have enough people really, because I don't want to keep, because I know I'm not gonna be able to do it either. But this is the kind of thing that would be great to have as like a set of notes or a list to take to the gun rights policy conference, because this is the kind of thing where if it doesn't get brought up, that'd be the place to have the most potential to find somebody to ask who's in knowledge of it, get some actual info on some of these things.
Yeah.
But I suspect something like that will probably be brought up.
All right. What else do we have? Okay, we have the today, Tuesday, September 19th. Wisconsin will be hearing, Wisconsin and Ohio actually will be hearing stuff. So Wisconsin, it's important concealed carry legislation scheduled for committee vote today. And this is SB 169 would allow for concealed carry of firearm without concealed carry license anywhere in the state where an individual is legally allowed to be. So that's a good thing for Wisconsin, I would assume. They get it through.
And you're saying it's gone past committee and it's going to their full Congress? Or full House, I guess.
Please contact members, Judiciary Committee to support this. Hang on a second. It's scheduled for committee vote this week, so it's scheduled for committee vote today.
Oh, okay. Well, at least it's progress. At least it's on the list.
Yep. And I'll share the link too, because there is a link inside of it, inside the article, that can take you to support.
Does it still work if I do video on Marco's internet here?
Oh yeah.
This dog just figured out squirrels, so he's on 100% full alert. And some squirrel just went by, and he hasn't barked in like months. Now he's barking because he just figured out squirrels exist.
I'm surprised he didn't find squirrels up in Michigan area. We got a whole bunch of them.
Well, there must not have been one walking around your yard, because in the car, you can see nothing out the windows. There's no windows. So this, I think, is first chance to just look outside.
Well, anyways, I wanted to comment real quick on the previous topic you were talking about, the the misdemeanor hate crime thing. That's just one of those things where it gets kind of slippery slope of when you use general terms. Like if you were to talk to especially someone in the middle, it's like, oh, I just want common sense. Like, you don't want bad guys to have guns, right? And everyone says, oh yeah, I don't want bad guys to have guns. And then they take that list of like, violent felons to people with certain misdemeanors, to anyone who's ever breaking the law ever, to the dude who was jaywalking one time when he was 16. I mean, they just keep extending. I don't know how far they're going to go, but that's definitely their plan, is they have everyone on board saying, yes, we don't want bad guys to have guns. Like, we will allow you to take guns away from bad guys. Like, that seems reasonable. And then they just extend that list of who they consider bad guys.
Yep, and that scenario works to their advantage every time they engineer a news story. So obviously, in the country, 360 million people, at any time they could pick any low-hanging fruit and then give it an exaggerated amount of coverage and say, this is an indication that our barrier is set too low. So like you said, let's just raise the increment a little bit. Oh, obviously, we've already gotten rid of people who done a crime, but the police can't be everywhere all the time. So, why don't we look at people who probably are going to commit a crime, and if they say bad things, then that means they're probably going to commit a crime. So why don't we just prevent them from having a gun?
Right. And then when you try and, point out the fact that, like, hey, man, like, it's like even the domestic violence or whatever, like, when everyone hears that, they think of like a wife beater. But from everything that I've understood, like, domestic abuse is when you actually, like, lay hands on somebody, and domestic violence can be an argument. I mean, it might even be an angry, a threats of violence or something, maybe even. But so, anyways, when you say, like, these are misdemeanors, they're not even felonies. They're a misdemeanor for a reason, because they're not as bad as like a felony. So when you say, well, I think that's kind of bad, the misdemeanor hate crime, they're going to say, oh, so you want someone who burns someone's house down because they're black to have guns? It's like, no, that would be a felony type thing. And those are more bad guys than someone who calls someone a dork or whatever, and they happen to be the wrong, group, or uses any other type of insensitive word. So I just wanted to comment on that, because that's something that's always kind of bugged me on that. But unfortunately, I got to get back to work now. So
Right on. Thanks for jumping in.
Yep. See you guys.
Cheers, man.
What about the other angle where we go want to start hate crime? Then what are you saying? Gun owners are criminals. That's a hate crime. I'm afraid to go into New York. I literally drove an hour out of my way to not go into New Jersey because I'm scared shitless of being persecuted because of my beliefs and my way, my lifestyle.
Oh yeah, and seriously, like people don't think about it like that. Like that's people shouldn't live in fear. We live in a free country. We shouldn't have to fear what state we go. We should be able to roam as we please.
I'm not afraid of anybody in New Jersey other than the laws and the police officers who are charged with enforcing those laws. So
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm only in fear of the state. Well, we solved it. So we've gotten a bunch of wildcard topics there. Were any of them legit? Or were they all trolls?
I like that one that I saw earlier. I think was that Smeggy where he was saying the Share Act is bringing together hunters and tactical people alike.
Okay, let's go with that one. Do we already have somebody in there for the member of the day?
No, but I do have one in the email. I'm gonna go open that up while we talk about this. Wait.
Then I got one. So I'm going to go unorthodox member of the day. So every day between the first and second segment of the show, we like to feature one of the members over at Gun Channels. Gun Channels is a place we built. It's a community. It's completely driven by its membership and run by its members. So with that in mind, we feature a member every day. And today I'm going to feature this dog right here, who's a member of the Gun Websites team. Keeps me company, and he's sort of a mascot. And yeah, people are always interested in what he's doing and how he's doing. And he's having a good time meeting up with the other dogs from members of the people that we're meeting up with. Every once in a while, he gets to meet up with a dog at one of the shops. So, hey, this is our member of the day.
Yeah, I'm actually happy, man, that he's walking a lot better. That seems like the whole tour and the trip is doing real good for him.
Yeah, I was a little bit worried about that. I figured, I've known him for a while, so he probably would rather just go out, on the road and just die someplace, being old. But so I figured I'd take him with me either way. But yeah, I'm glad to see he bounced back, and I think he was mostly just miserable sitting and driving around. So yeah, definitely cool to see him getting better, getting more energy. Not that he was bad.
Yeah, he wasn't bad at all. Yeah, but
anyway, then appreciate everybody who has concern for him. It was nice to, have people out there thinking about him. I'm sure helps him out. He really cares a lot. Maybe he doesn't know, but he does. Anyway, so we're gonna do the Share Act. I think that's our best thing we got possibly going. I'm really looking forward to the Gun Rights Policy Conference. I'm hoping that it'll be a lot of emphasis on that. When do you know off the top of your head? You don't need to look it up or anything if you don't, but do you happen to know they say it's a couple of weeks out. I think that's what I've heard.
That's exactly what I've heard too.
So
What was it?
I mean,
The
policy-
13th it made it out of committee or something like that, I think.
it was just the other day. It was like last Friday or something. Somebody said, and I really don't know because I'm, spending time driving and then, just keeping the what do you call the logistics of the trip and everything. I've been taking my time, but I depend on the chats and stuff. But I did catch that that went through, and is going to go out in the House, right? So like I say, I'm not sure. I haven't seen anything on Instagram, which is what I monitor most as far as social media platforms. I paid absolutely no attention to Facebook and almost very little, if nothing, to YouTube. I don't think of YouTube as daily info for me, though. I think of something like Instagram or Facebook, because the posts have something written there and I can see it. If the video is 15 minutes long and they get to the point 3 minutes into it, it's not going to work for me right now. So anyway, is there any kind of organized getting together and getting a consistent message out there that this is the time when everyone needs to be writing, from every, area of firearms, from this is an important one?
No, honestly, other than hearing everybody on the chats mention it here and there, I haven't seen anything that's actually organized.
So I'm thinking we can, look forward to what we're going to say at the Federal Rights Policy Conference. Hopefully, it's in the right order sequence so that they can put out a consistent message and everybody can put it out and use that forum. Hopefully it doesn't get voted on like the day or two before or something. I guess that's one of the things I'll try to take a look at and see if I was halfway thinking about talking to the people at Gun Owners of America, which is not far from the NRA Museum. And I was telling Jimmy off air, the problem with DC, at least I don't know if the problem, it's an issue with DC, is that there's traffic, and I don't know the traffic patterns and times and things, and I'm kind of on a different, I'm on the other side of the traffic from them, so it's not an easy decision to just go over and check them out. But since I was going to think about contacting them, I might ask them if they are going to do some sort of a push, or if there's any kind of getting together of the various groups to get a message out there. As you think about the efforts that the California groups have done, it's tremendous. They got a lot of momentum for in resistance to the Gunmageddon not too long ago. You got the suppressor groups that are putting all that effort into the Hearing Protection Act, which are obviously going to move their resources right into this one. Hunting, you would think they'd be really in favor of this. Got manufacturers who are wanting people to get stoked about guns again, and why wouldn't everything in the share get people motivated to buy guns again? And the industry, everybody should be behind this. I would really like to start seeing some massive move.
Yeah, and the thing too that's cool about it is that it's getting a lot of people that never even considered suppressors and that kind of stuff. Like, it's getting them interested in the topic, and it could definitely be something great for the industry. There's the suppressor industry, probably the gun industry as a whole, because people would have to get their threaded barrels. They'd have to get so there's a whole bunch of different things that go into it. So I think it would just be good all around.
What I really like is, or at least I'm enthusiastic that the main argument, or one of the only arguments I've heard, I don't know if it's a main argument, but at least one of the only arguments I've heard is that ridiculous concept that the noise that a firearm makes is a safety issue. By silencing one, you somehow make it more dangerous because kids can't duck, or because people can't duck. So just a complete ignorance of everything, awareness of how firearms work and how situations are in actual reality, that no one hears a gunshot and ducks, the bullet.
Oh yeah, when they've obviously never heard an actual live suppressed gun fired, because it's not, you're gonna tell something's happening, But well, that's the one thing. Oh, go ahead.
Real gunfire. Nobody knows what's going on if they don't know what gunfire is. I mean, there's always going to be people that are caught off guard. There's going to be people that are unaware, and there's going to be people that know exactly what's going on. But anyway, I'm just saying, if that's really their argument, that the Hearing Protection Act wasn't a hearing protection act, that the suppressors weren't a safety feature, that somehow the loud, eardrum injuring report from a firearm is somehow a safety issue, that would be great if that's a serious point from their end, because it's so easy to get rid of.
Yeah. Well, and then that's the one thing that I'm worried about, though, is that now that's what the left is kind of going after. Like silencers is one of their big things. And I mean, they don't have much of an argument or much leg to stand on, but that's what they're like focusing their energy on right now. So it would be a real good idea for all of us to get behind that.
All right, so that was our second segment. Should we do good idea? Oh wait, is today good idea? No, state of the state.
Yeah, state of the state. Oh yeah. I actually have some of that pulled up, and I did this one. I did Alaska because they were one of, if not the first. I gotta open this up here to do constitutional carry. Let's see. So Alaska concealed handgun. Alaska laws do not prohibit anyone 21 or older who may legally possess a firearm from carrying it concealed. A special permit is not required. Possession of firearm, whether concealed or open, is restricted in some circumstances and location. Let's see. But another reason why I kind of brought them up too while this is loading is, Alaska, they're another one of those states that they have concealed constitutional carry, and you don't hear about blood running in the snow and murders happening every time, and you don't hear about that kind of stuff. And they were one of the first. So let's see here. All right. So the U.S. state of Alaska has very permissive gun laws and very few regulations regarding the sale, possession, and use of firearms and ammunition. Compared to those in most of the connected United States, Alaska was the first state to adopt carry laws modeled after those of Vermont, where no license is required to carry a handgun either openly or concealed. However, permits are still issued to residents, allowing reciprocity with other states and exemption from the federal Gun-Free School Zone Act. The legal stipulation that gun permits are issued but not required is referred to by gun rights advocates as an Alaska carry, as opposed to a Vermont carry or constitutional carry. Where gun licenses are neither issued nor required, some city ordinances do not permit concealed carry without a license, but these have been invalidated by the recent state preemption statute. So they were one of the first to do that and are still fighting for their rights. Let's see here. So it's going over all the subject laws. So state permit to purchase. Let's see. No license for long guns, no license for handguns. Firearm registration, no. Assault weapon law, no. Owner's license required, long guns, no. Handguns, no. Carry permits required, long guns, no. Handguns, no. Open carry, long guns, yes, if you want. Handguns, yes. State preemption of local restrictions, there are, yes, on both long guns and handguns. NFA weapons restricted, no, for long guns and handguns. There shall certify, yes, for long guns and handguns. Peaceable journey laws, no for long guns, no for handguns, and there's none on the restrictions. Background checks required for private sales, no for long guns, no for handguns.
Well, I think they're a pretty awesome state. I think, unfortunately, because of their uniqueness, they get blown off, right? You go, oh, that's Alaska. So anything that happens good there, freedom-wise, they'll just, the antis will go, oh, that's Alaska, it doesn't count. Oh, it's different. Oh, it's Alaska. At least that's what I hear. Vermont's a little better because it's right next to like all their states that do other things they like so much. So it's hard for them to ditch Vermont. But whenever we've talked about in the past, or talked about, but I've heard people try to use Alaska's concealed carry or people say, oh, it's the frontier. You got to worry about polar bears, and then they get discounted because they're the Wild West or whatever.
Yeah, that is true. But still, though, I think that if some of these pro-gun, anti-gun debates or whatever they were actually looked at the statistics from a state right before they passed their carry laws and right after they were allowed to carry and all that, and I don't know. I feel like those statistics and those differences in numbers should shut down the entire gun debate right there.
Yeah, I would think so. But the people aren't debating the facts. They're debating the potential of the theory, right? They're debating the possibility, usually. I think the antis, they don't, they go, oh, well, yeah, maybe just because 1,000 people haven't been murdered, that doesn't justify having a murder weapon. They look at just the numbers. All right, well, so we solved Alaska. I think everybody's going to move there. You ever been to Alaska?
No, but I honestly, before I came to Arizona, did consider moving there.
Yeah, I really like the thought of Alaska, but I've never been up there. I mean, we've both experienced winters, probably more, at least as much as all them people up north,
Oh, yeah.
I know they deal with more winters, obviously, but, we've had a taste of it, if nothing else, and lived through it. But, yeah, this is a lot nicer. I don't know if I'd enjoy all that winter stuff again, even with all the awesome freedom. We get awesome freedom and no polar bears.
That's what kind of led me to the desert too, man. I'm thinking snow and then remembering all those times I had to shovel and all that. Yeah, getting snow drifts and getting locked in your house, I'll pass.
Here's the thing too, like if you don't shovel the snow, then the mailman's going to break a leg and sue us. That would be the threat held over my head. Like somehow it's my job to not get the house sued so the mailman don't break a leg or whatever. Like, I don't want mail. Keep his damn mail. I'm not getting nothing anyway. All right, so that was Alaska. Every week we try to do a state of the state. If you got an idea for a state, you can let us know. But I think at some point we've got a list, right? Or we're getting a list. So, but we can always do it in some order. We just don't want to do, some cool, wicked cool state like Arizona every single week. And it would get boring. But we might actually go through some of the, 11, 12, 14 states I've been through already on this trip. And I think it'll be 15. I forget the numbers. I was just looking at them last night, all mixed up. But I think it's 11 so far. It'll be 15 altogether. It's hard to know because I'm not sure if I'm going to go back up through Colorado on this trip or if, that'll be another trip. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Coming home from Dallas, it's not really on the way to go back up to Colorado, but it would be kind of cool to go to Colorado Springs and then down to see that NRA museum and that gunsmith school. So see, it sounded appealing, but we'll see. So that takes us into Cycle sent in this gun shop.
Oh yeah. Let me pull that up actually real.
So one of the reasons we started this show, call it the Daily Gun Show, so we can do things on the daily. I've done weekly shows before, and I'm usually, except for last night, invited into weekly shows. So I feel like I can, get information out there or learn information that's getting, that I missed. But we started doing it on the daily because there's certain things I wanted to really emphasize with my content that I'm creating. And Jimmy and Bob, who's been pretty much every show except for the last couple of days with me every single day here, we both have the same goal, and that's to talk about gun shops, to get people to realize that those gun shops are the best thing we got going for us. I'm seeing it more and more as we drive around the country. As I drive around the country here, I was kind of talking about it last night, and I started getting tired and loopy. I don't know if it came out right, but I used to drive past little towns all the time when we would road trip when I was a little kid, and almost every town at least had a hunting store, a fishing store, taxidermy, something that had something to do with going outside and probably using a gun. And a lot of the sporting goods stores would have guns, so you'd see a sign sometimes that said guns or something out front, and that is not out there anymore. There are no words out there in the signage that say guns anymore. Closest thing you'll get is a Pistol Pete's Pizza, right? And then he's got some kind of goofy looking squirt gun thing instead of a real gun, and it's a pizza place. But you know what I'm saying? There's no little gun shops out there. Very, very, very few little gun shops out there. So I think even if you don't enjoy guns, even if you don't like going to gun shops because you'd rather shop online and it's easier and cleaner, or whatever the hell your reasons are, doesn't really matter. When there's no gun shops out there, just when there's no gun shops out there, guess what? There's no signs for gun shops. When there's no advertising like billboards or those little, what do you call those signs that you stick in the ground? There's no little signs on poles anywhere that point to the gun shop. There's no business cards at the local, I don't know, Safeway, or even at a sporting goods store or something that tell you to go to the gun shop. So when you don't have that stuff out there, it's just not a part of society anymore. And how easy is it to shun something that's not represented? When there's no representation, you assume that there's no support. You assume that they're not representing anyone because there's nothing, that there's no one there to be represented. So I think that it's really detrimental to have so few shops anymore for those reasons. And I've just kind of noticed that. We'll talk about other things that I think gun shops are important for. Knowledge. When you talk about a little kid growing up, I think all of us can remember we were either taken to a gun shop the first time or we walked into a gun shop. We just balled up and walked into a gun shop for the first time. And we had our first few experiences in local gun shops. That don't happen in big box stores. You don't walk up to the sporting goods aisle of Walmart the same way that you walk into your first gun shop. You don't have a conversation at Sportsman's Warehouse or freaking Dick's with the guy like you would at a local gun shop. You don't have the experience of going to Walmart and then over to Sportsman's Warehouse and talk to the gun departments like you do when you go to the big gun shop in town and the little gun shop in town. That's a different experience, and all that stuff adds to what we are, and what we're creating or what is existing now is a situation where kids aren't going to get that experience. So anyway, for all those reasons, we think gun shops are important. All those reasons and more, we think gun shops are important. And for that reason, we do a gun shop every single day. I'm out here spending good time and money to find those gun shops. I'm hoping that people out there are interested enough to help point me to directions of good gun shops. Just got pointed in the direction of one this morning that was an old Burger King that's now a range. I can't wait to see that one. That sounds super interesting. They converted a Burger King structure into a shooting range. I've seen all kinds of neat ones, and I can't see them all, and that's not really the goal anyway. The goal is to remind people that you've got a camera in your pocket. That phone you carry around is a really good camera. I'm doing this entire tour with my phone and nothing more really, except for a laptop that doesn't have most of the keys. So you don't need a lot of stuff to do this. And to that end, we are encouraging people to let us know about your local gun shops. And to that end, I'm finally getting to the part where Cycle, one of our members over on Gun Channels, sent us this one in today. Now I'll let Jimmy take over.
And we want to also thank Cycle. We really appreciate it. And anybody else also that wants to send in their gun shop or a gun shop that they visited that's real cool, please feel free to send it to the dailygunshow@gmail.com. So this one is Cycles. This is Statewide Pawn and Armory in Salem, Connecticut. He says that it's a small shop associated with the pawn shop, but decent selection. And it does carry used firearms as well as curio arms. So all you CNR guys out there, this will be a great place for you. He sent us a zip with pictures. Let me screen share here. Yeah, and those small shops, man, those sometimes I've noticed that those are the best. So here is pics. And it will not let me open. There we go. Stand by. Operations taking long. You want to?
Sorry, I'm sitting here reading the YouTube side. Clover saying, well, one tragic death is bad, and anti-gunner wants all your freedoms in an ill-fated effort to prevent it, even though it probably could not have been prevented. That's exactly right. They don't care about the numbers. They want to be the one person who cares so much that they can ignore the numbers, and they just don't care about your facts and your figures and your clinical, you know.
Oh yeah, how many times you hear if we could just save one kid or something? You know, they always like use emotion and stuff like that. They never use logic.
You don't have any skin in the game. It's real easy to gamble or to wager with everybody else's, and that's their situation they're in. And they think they're talking. I really think they think they're talking to a small segment. They think they're talking to that. I don't know. It's weird. So I can say this now because I've literally been in enough towns that there's this guy in every town. They think that they're talking to that guy with the pickup truck who's got the American flag like dead center in his bed, right between the two dudes sitting in front, and then at a weird angle. So it's like, you know, just some weird way of like putting a flag in the back of your car. And then they'll tear around with glass packs or whatever, just tearing all around town, going with the flag waving. So I'm pretty sure most anti-gunners think they're talking to that guy, and that there's like, I don't know, every NRA owner is that guy or his wife or his little sister or something. It's either that guy or the guy sitting in the passenger seat going, hell yeah. But there's seriously that guy in like almost every town. I always thought there was like that one guy in Tucson. Then it turns out there's that one guy in almost every town.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jimmy.
No, you're good.
We're about to get a brat and then paint it red, white, and blue and put a big ass flag bigger than the brat in the bed. So it looked like a Hobie cat or something, like a big sail.
Just float down the road. Yeah, I don't know what's up with these zip files, but I keep getting this message over here to abort, and it won't leave me alone. So
yeah, the idea of sending those zips.
Yeah, but you know, I mean, you can kind of see here they got a nice little knife display. There must be some. It looks like milsurp. Maybe that's some of the curio guns he was talking about.
That's why I encourage you to post these over on Gun Channels in a gallery. Then all we got to do is go to Gun Channels and open it. Sending it to us in an email is nice, and I don't know why Dano kept insisting people do that, but it's not the only way you can do it, and it's actually the most laborious way for us. You can see that we have to dig around and figure it out because it's basically different every way. You know, different ways people send us files. We have to figure out how to open them and screen share them. But heck, if you put them on Gun Channels, not only are they easier for us to get up on the screen here, but Jimmy could use them in the early watch real easily. Anybody could use them in any show, and they'd be available on Gun Channels forever for everybody. Right now, they're just in a Google hole that only people have access can get to it. And we don't have time to then necessarily pull all these and post them for you. So we appreciate it, but let's just let people know there are options. And one of them is to post the content yourself. That's helping the store a lot, and then link us to it. Because, yeah, in other words, you can't open these to see a little bit more detail because I'm curious what those blue boxes are there. Are those safes? Oh, those are probably safes. The top right.
Yeah. Those look like, those are like those little fire safes. The little portable ones, I guess. Well, I guess you can mount it somewhere.
Looks like they got hours all week. 10 to something all the week long. 7 days.
10 to 3 Sunday, not bad hours, and then 10 to 7 Monday to Saturday.
Yeah, I figure a store is at least putting in effort to get those people who, have to really work and can use a Sunday. And if they, need to close a Sunday once in a while, that's different than never being open. So that's cool. I'll give them.
Well, I mean, heck, I know that there's been times where like Sunday is my only free day to get there,
I've had
they close.
Yeah, exactly. Because let's see, people cherish Sundays. That's awesome. Guess what? So when I'm a single dude, I work Sundays. Or, I would, work on days that people wanted off or whatever, and then that leaves you the other days. So there's always people that are going to be on a different schedule. So just because you like to have a day off doesn't mean all the rest of the world. If you're not working, guess who? Somebody's working instead of you. Okay, so it's a pawn shop though. So some of that other stuff is pawn.
Yeah, so I'm assuming that they got some of their used guns. I mean, they look like they got a pretty nice pistol selection there too. Their wall looks pretty nice. It's filled up.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course you got your, it looks like ammo cans, some lubes, an ATM.
It looks like an ATM machine.
Yeah, this looks like a pretty cool place. And I, like I was saying earlier, I really like these littler shops. Sometimes even pawn shops are pretty cool too. Like they'll have some cool stuff in them. But
Pawn
that's
shops
where
are
you can,
super
I
cool.
mean,
Yeah, I really like pawn shops. Sometimes, I mean, sometimes they're kind of, I guess, collect garbage, but like a tool one, I really like. I guess that's the thing. If they're like a music pawn shop, I'm not so interested in, but a tool one, I like.
yeah.
And
Cool, so
then
that
some,
was the
like TVs and DVDs. Yeah, that's a big deal. And then there's like the. I really haven't stopped at too many pawn shops, only because, like I say, there's so much variety of them that sometimes guns are there because they are technically able to do it, but it's like 6 guns in a pawn shop instead of 6 items in a gun shop.
Yeah, like I've seen that too out here. They'll have a sign on the pawn shop that says "We have guns," and you walk in there and they got like a little 25.
Yeah, like 4 guns. Like, thanks for making me park.
Oh man! So
Right
that
on. So
was,
where is this at? I'm assuming it's in Connecticut, or is this on one of the trips you took?
this was in Salem, Connecticut.
Right on. And that's the kind of thing too. I think it's neat to share the stuff like this because I'm never gonna probably, I've never seen a shop in Connecticut that I can think of, and I don't know when I'll be able to get up there. So I think it's neat to be able to see shops from other parts of the country. That's interesting because it looks like it's in like a little strip center or something.
Yeah.
In a 24-hour gun shop. I've seen 24-hour ranges, but I don't think I've seen a 24-hour gun shop yet. Except for internet sites, of course. Or I guess Walmart, but even then they close their gun shops usually from like 10 to 6.
Oh, wait, 1 second. 1 second. Hang on. Finally got this thing open.
Oh, you got the pictures open?
Yeah, let's see. I want to see what those blue things were. So, okay, so that was nice.
Working.
Oh, except it's going to take me an hour to go to the next one, so never mind.
Oh, okay. At least so you can see, I think that's it looks like a, no, I was going to say it looks like a blue Griptilian, but I don't think it is. It's making you open up each one, though.
Yeah, every single, yeah, so I'm going to call it on that one. This file could not be displayed. Yeah.
Right on. Well, again, thanks for the attempt, and like I say, next time consider dropping them in gun channels. But thanks for taking the pictures. Here's I think another thing, and again, this is going back to my feelings, but I feel like when you go into a gun shop and you say, "Hey, you mind if I take a couple of pictures?" I can again 100% confidently tell you that pretty much every gun shop is going to go, "Yeah," and then sometimes they're going to go, "Before." But most of the time they're just going to go, "Yeah," and then go back to doing whatever. And the couple of times, and even when they just say "yeah," right, even when they don't act like they care, every once in a while they'll ask what for, and then you'll tell them, and they'll go, "Oh, okay." And trust me, I'm a channel with 160,000 subs. I do a daily podcast where I'm trying to promote them, and they don't care. They're just like, "Oh, okay." They just want to make sure you're not like, "Oh, I hate you," and I'm taking pictures to show you're a murderer, right? As long as you don't respond with something like that, then they're going to go, "Okay." So don't expect them to be super impressed with anything you're doing. But at the same time, think of the ego boost that they get, that there's somebody that gives a damn about their shop. There's someone that gives a damn about their industry. There's somebody that gives a damn about what they're contributing to their local community and the economy. And even if they don't show it, I just got to assume that gives them some needed reassurance and some needed inspiration to continue doing their job. So again, I thank Cycle Camp for doing that. He's posted a bunch of videos or not videos, but pictures for us. And again, I think it's great. And I think it's a great, as I've seen the shop's reactions, I think it would be, check it out, give it a shot. You might enjoy it, and then become a habit. And then, like I say, more and more people will see that it's a thing to do. And then 2 years from now, the people will go, "What do you mean local gun shops were in danger of losing their positions?" They're one of the backbones of the industry, and we can help that. We can individually put effort towards making that happen. All right, and that would mean 24-hour gun shops.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
All right, you guys would be interested in the open hour. What? Oh, the open hours. Yeah, appreciate that. That's one of those things I'm thinking we probably should have done better. Jimmy and I have talked about it. We talked about a lot of things because, it's tough to get everything together. But I thought about coming up with a number of pictures to take consistently. I pretty much try to take a picture of the van in front of the store if I can, just because that's one consistent thing I can do. Then I'll take a picture of the front of the store because I'm usually walking right past the van. And it's easy to remember to do it. So it kind of reminds me to do the picture of the front of the store. And I do that as I park so that I don't forget to do it. Then every once in a while when they tell me to go pound sand, I at least have a picture of the front of their store, right? Because sometimes when they tell me to pound sand and I haven't already taken a picture of their store, my tendency is to go, I'm never going to take a picture of your store and share it with the world then. And my goal is really to share these stores. So I take a picture to spite myself. And then when I go in, I try to take a picture of the signs. I've been noticing this out here, and this isn't something we have back in Arizona. So shame on the gun shops in Arizona. In fact, shame on every single gun shop in Arizona, because I don't think I've seen this yet. Plaque for the first parking spot for disabled veterans. That's kind of a thing out here. I've seen that more than once. So I've tried to take pictures of stuff like that. If they have bathrooms or something that are exceptional or something, I'll try to take a picture of something like that. A lot of people might not be comfortable with guns, right? And we're trying to encourage them to go get comfortable with guns, that we're not weirdos and that we're not that guy and we're not that guy. We're just regular people like you. So even though it seems stupid and might seem weird, taking a picture of a facility, a bathroom, stairs, signage, right? Signage can be very comforting to people who are going to come into a new community, a new culture, a new set of knowledge, and not necessarily have a step-by-step guide. If a store offers some step-by-step information, here's what we want you to do if you bring a gun into the store. That's common sense for us, but some people, that's something they need to know. So a store that offers that signage can be the thing that gets somebody off their couch and goes to a gun shop, as opposed to a picture of a shop that, anyway, so anything you add like that, pictures and things, a picture of a bathroom, the facilities, the accessibility, those are the kind of things that might change a little old lady who's apprehensive about saying, well, you know what, I got that issue because of, whatever, lady problems, and, I want to make sure there's a bathroom there. It looks like there's a bathroom there, and only that, not only the bathroom, but it looks like it's, signs are well made, so they obviously care that there's a women's bathroom there. That's the kind of thing that might get a little old lady into a shop. So some of these things I think are important to take pictures of, but that being said, I don't take them consistently. Sometimes I just don't think about it. I'm talking to the people. Sometimes they'll say, what are you doing? And I try to explain to them my goal and, or, just bullshit with them a little bit. And, I forget to take a picture. Maybe they don't have a bathroom, so it's something that you can't always take consistently. I'd like to be able to take a picture of a Glock 19, but it's kind of creepy to take pictures of people's prices and stuff. So I try not to get too close up on stuff like that. Taking pictures of the coolest gun in the shop isn't possible. Sometimes shops have stupid guns and there just is no cool gun. Sometimes there's so many cool guns. How do you pick the coolest gun? Gat guns. I just posted the video yesterday. Had 8 of those little tiny Gatling guns. How do you pick the coolest one? So, every shop is going to be a little bit different. So my thing is just to take some pictures, try to get a picture of the rifles, try to get a picture of the ammo, try to get a picture of some of the revolvers. And if there's a lot of them, then you get a lot of pictures, and then that helps show the scale. If everybody's interested or anybody's interested, we can do a Gun Channels University on this sometime, and that could be beneficial for everybody, hopefully, because I definitely need to practice thinking about what I want to take pictures of at each shop, because I'm pretty sure when it's all over, having, let's say, a picture of if I did take a picture of a Glock 19 at every single shop I stopped at, that would be kind of neat to see all the different ways that they display them, the different price tags, right? The different prices, and I don't know. I just think it'd be kind of neat to see that, just that. You kind of flip fast on a screen and see all the different ways that a Glock 19 could be, put out.
Yeah, that would be cool. All the different mods and all that. Yeah.
All right.
Well, I guess we could take a step over to the gun of the day, maybe.
Okay. I figure it's like that one scene where somebody drops a loaded gun down the stairs and it just goes off the whole way down. That's what happens when Jimmy goes to get that gun.
Yeah. So everybody knows what that sound means. Go ahead and crack your knuckles, whip out them keyboards, and get ready for the tactical quiz. Today, the quiz is brought to you by Angry. We appreciate that. And anybody else that wants to give us some questions or some feedback or anything, feel free to visit at dailygunshow@gmail.com. So today's question, everybody ready? Get ready. The HK UMP is offered in how many trigger configurations? The HK UMP is offered in how many trigger configurations?
We already have an answer. Pants has it 42.
42. Almost. And John Moses Browning is not a number.
Now we have 3.
Nothing on YouTube, so I'm saying Pants gets it.
Oh, he got it by cheating.
Yeah.
That happens though. At least that's
elimination. Yeah, there you go.
So
yep, Pants got it.
Now you get to the answer.
Pants got it. So Pants, I guess that makes you the tactical hot shot of the day.
So the answer was 4. The answer was 4, even though it seems like more because H&K puts millions of variations into their stuff.
Yeah. Well, the 4, I mean, it's the, 2-shot burst, fully auto, semi-auto, and safe.
Oh, okay. I thought it meant 4 trigger packs. Like they have a Navy trigger pack and a Army trigger pack and a civilian trigger pack.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I was thinking something different. All right. Well, so that was the gun of the day. Every day we try to feature, or no, that was the gun quiz. So we were about to go into the gun of the day.
Yeah. Right? And the gun of the day, it's the Jimadani. I brought this one up because of the Daily Gun Show yesterday when you guys were in the NRA museum.
Oh, I figured you brought this one up because it has an ethnic sounding name, and since Bob isn't here, we don't have to get all racist about it.
There was a second reason behind my madness. But yeah, so this is the Giordani, or as some people know it, I guess, the Lewis and Clark rifle. And yesterday I seen it, and I really don't have very much education on this rifle at all. So I figured I'd go look it up. And while I was looking it up, found out that it's a pretty cool gun, and figured why not put it in the gun of the day. So this was an air rifle in service with the Austrian army from 1780 to around 1850. The advantages of a high rate of fire, no smoke from propellants, and low muzzle report granted it initial acceptance, but it was eventually removed from service for several reasons. And it was pretty cool. So I guess, let's see here. It was saying something about you had to do like, it could hold up to 30 rounds of 46 caliber, but you had to pump it around 1,500 times or something like that. 1,500 strokes of a hand pump to fill the air reservoir. So pretty cool gun. Let me screen share some more.
So we're talking about the air rifle that Lewis and Clark took with them.
Yeah.
And it's the stock is all goofy. It looks kind of like a, I don't know, fat billy club or a fat baseball bat, right? But it's because it's more round or whatever than oval shaped standard stock. So anyway, the stock is the air chamber, and I think it was brass. I don't remember, but obviously it was strong because, like Jimmy said, you had to pump it up 1,500 times, but whatever the poundage was, I forget, it was pretty impressive. It was definitely more powerful than with the air rifles we get as toys now. But the stock was the air chamber. From what I understand, you could take the stock off and carry like multiple stocks, basically multiple air chambers. So one guy could be pumping while somebody else is shooting. You just take the stock off and switch it, and then that gives you more air, and then you keep shooting. There was that magazine down the barrel up front, so it could hold multiple projectiles because a black powder air rifle uses air to push a ball. There's nothing else needed. So you could just, you know, lock in another ball, shoot, lock in another ball, shoot, no sound really, at least compared to regular black powder, and it scared the crap out of the Indians. They thought that Lewis and Clark were carrying around dozens of those things, and gave them the respect that, you know, overwhelming superiority in munitions usually gets.
Yep.
Now,
Definitely cool,
he had one, he would demonstrate it for the Indians, and they would, again, give him the respect to somebody who was coming in with like overwhelming force. But then what did he do? He didn't like enslave them or slaughter them or murder them or nothing. He would just trade with them and move on. Unless they was getting killed by him, you know, they minded their business and kept walking. They might have screwed him out of business deals or whatever, but you know, just because he had overwhelming force, or at least the perception of it, he didn't abuse that. He just used it to prevent war. He used it to prevent fighting, and I think that's a great gun. But I think its a use was an indication of how overwhelming firepower held by good people isn't a bad thing. In fact, it's a super good thing. It's necessary because it allows a regular old good person to prevent a larger bad person from imposing their will.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or in this
I'm
case,
looking at
the piece, you know, kept a potential situation from ever becoming negative. So yeah, that's, at least that's the pictures I've seen. I'm assuming that means you could take the chamber off and swap it out.
Yeah, that's what I was just looking at. So it looks fairly easy to just, you know, remove it and slap on another stock, I guess. Oh, you can't really tell. I thought they were like super detailed on the stock on it. Can't really tell.
I don't know if the one that's at the NRA Museum is the actual one. I didn't take the time to read it. I figure I'll be back there.
You're right, yeah.
But I don't think he even said anything about it in the tour, now that I'm thinking about it. I asked him a couple of things when he was going through. You know how tours are at places like that? Most of the people just shut up and don't ask anything. Well, I've already been there like 5 times, so I'm asking questions. Plus, I have specific questions or whatever. So one of the questions I asked, we got to the thing is chronologically, right? So we got to the point where it was like World War II, and he was talking about a story about there's a Thompson with a jacket behind it, and the story is how, I think the guy was, I didn't hear the whole story, it's on my phone, but I was looking at other things, so I wasn't paying too much attention, but I think the guy was on an airplane, and he had this Thompson given to him as like his, you know, in case you have to jump out, or no, I think he just acquired the Thompson somewhere, and he kept it with him on the plane just in case he had to bail out. It was just like my go-to gun. I got this Thompson if I need it. And then he liked it so much that whenever the war was over, he just took it apart, put it in his duffel bag, and took it home with him. And then whenever the amnesty from World War II happened, he registered it. So now he has it registered, his gun, his Thompson from World War II, and I guess he used to use it to go hunting or whatever. So whatever he died, his wife donated it, I think, or he died and donated it to the NRA Museum, and that's why it's on the wall. Anyway, the story is the story, but basically the idea is that he's standing, the guy who's doing the tour is standing in a room, like little cubby of the museum or whatever, a little bay that's probably got, I don't know, 40, 50 guns in it, way more than that, maybe even 60 or more. You know, I didn't count them, but a whole bunch of guns on display. And it's a gun museum, and it's mostly just guns. It's not a bunch of dioramas for the most part. So this is a portion where it's just guns everywhere. And, you know, he was telling us this story, and I stopped him and said, now, this isn't just a museum like where you guys went out and took some guy's collection and put it on display. This isn't a museum where, you know, you went out and dug these things up from the ground. You know, this is a museum where people, individuals, members of the NRA donated these guns to the NRA. So you basically, you know, potentially each one of these guns has that same story. I mean, obviously they have a different story, but each gun has a story of the person or from the person who gave it to you. And he said, yeah, basically I could look around this little area and point at any of these guns and then tell you the story, because his job is to know all the stories of all the guns, right? To decide which ones to put out and which ones to emphasize and all that. So that's what I think is neat about those things, is that I guess I got to this because he walked through the tour, didn't even talk about that air rifle, but you know, 2 weeks later, that might be the gun he decides to stop the tour and talk about. And that's what's neat about going to those places and taking those tours, is that you can, every time you go, you know, he's going to potentially be picking on a different gun and telling you a different story.
Yeah, like it's the same tour every time, but he might go over, different things. Yeah, that's the cool part of it.
They were saying the same thing at the castle, that, you know, they basically, as volunteers, know a whole bunch of the stories, maybe not every story, but a whole bunch of the stories. And then depending on the tour group and the questions that they ask, that's the stories they choose to talk to you about. So if you're interested in the castle, they'll tell you about the castle. If you're interested in the gardens, they'll talk to you about the gardens. If you're interested in the story of the island, they'll tell you about that. So anyway, I think that's a good gun of the day. Kind of got off track there, but that's what the show's all about.
Oh yeah, no worries. Yeah, like I said, I was completely uneducated about the gun, and then looking it up yesterday, realized how cool it was, so I kind of just had to add it in. Plus, I figured it was relevant since you just went to the NRA museum and all that.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, then let's see. We did that. We did that. We did that. I think we did everything except for this. I don't have anything in. Let me go over to calendars and see if there's anything over there. But I don't think we've done history yet.
No history.
Oh, you know what? I click buttons too fast. Or maybe I'm not connected to the internet. What's going on? Where did the history thing open? There it is. Have you gone through and looked at this yet? We should probably do this before the show better.
Yeah, today there didn't look like there was too much.
Uh-oh, we have a good one. 1863, in Georgia, the two-day Battle of Chickamauga begins as Union troops under George Thomas clash with Confederates under Nathan Forrest. So I don't really care about the Civil War battle, but the Battle of Chickamauga is a battlefield, or the battlefield still exists from that battle, which I guess happened today in 1863. Chickamauga battlefield is just south of Chattanooga. So if you're driving through that area and you go to Chattanooga because of its, awesomeness, a lot of people go there for tourism or whatever, then consider going down the road to Chickamauga. In fact, consider it very much, because it is one of the coolest gun museums in the country. It's small, it's not huge, but it's very cool because it is densely packed. I know I have video of it somewhere. How do you explain it? It's like 5 or 6 bays, I think, and it's just guns as if you were stacking them in your gun safe next to each other vertically. Boom, 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 next to each other, basically touching each other. And imagine a huge room size of probably bigger than a basketball court or two, or like the gymnasium that the 2 basketball courts would be in, like the gym you had in high school or junior high maybe. No, not that big. Anyway, a pretty big room with these 6 big bays, and it's just wall-to-wall guns. Good. I think the glass was good. It was definitely good in person. I think it was good glass for taking video, or maybe it was the other way around. It might have been bad glass for video, but either way, definitely an interesting experience. And what they are is in chronological order for the most part. I mean, the guns don't actually go in chronological order really, but for the most part, they go from the innovations and the evolution of the various locks and actions. So it's really neat to just walk and see all these different guns and just kind of know that you're walking through not just history, but the evolution of the machine. And I think it's one guy's collection, and he gave it to the state But anyway, the Chickamauga battlefield is definitely one of the cool museums to check out. And I guess today is the day of the battle, 2-day battle. The battlefield is just a big field. And they have a bunch of cannons there. So if you're into Civil War, they do have some Civil War stuff there.
Very cool.
New Zealand became the first nation to grant women the right to vote. That was in 1893. So thanks, New Zealand, for letting women become equal to everybody else. Show the world, right?
Show you guys. Oh yeah, and today also I wasn't going to mention this because it really doesn't count as history, but I guess the 9mm was invented today.
Oh, that's why I knew there was something weird in the air today. Stinks. Yeah. Stinky today. So it's a big Nazi holiday, I guess. Wait, hold on. You mean because it's 9/19 day? That doesn't mean it was invented today, dude. That's just because it's September 19th, 9/19.
Oh.
No, it was invented on a whole different day that not the Germans get all excited about. Today is just 9/19 day.
Yeah. A gross day in history.
It happens once a year. Even a broken clock is broken twice as much or something when it's 9mm.
Yeah.
Let's see. In 1985. What? This happened in my lifetime. Earthquake kills thousands in Mexico. I guess I was a dumb kid at the time but wasn't paying attention to Mexico City. Earthquake kills thousands in Mexico City. This is today in 1991. This seems like a lot longer ago than that. The German hikers near Austria-Italy border discovered a naturally preserved mummy of a man from 3300 BC, Europe's oldest natural human mummy. He is dubbed the Otzi Man, or the Otzi, the Iceman, because his lower half was encased in ice. So, do you remember that?
No.
Oh, I remember I think there was later on in the 90s, there was a whole bunch of stuff that came out once they started, figuring out the significance of that guy. But they found this like preserved guy and all of his stuff, like his EDC, basically. The
caveman. I remember now. Yeah.
It seems like a lot longer because they did so much, info. It got so much info, but I think they had theorized on a bunch of things based on like leftover garbage, but getting a guy who was like literally walking, right? Like they saw all the crap that he was carrying and all the stuff. So they knew, a lot better, like how those people were back then or whatever. So anyway, that's kind of neat. And to know that I didn't realize something like this would keep track of something like, that date. That's kind of neat. But that's why we do this, because we never know what kind of interesting things going to show up. This is some history website that I think Pawnery uses it too for his show, but I found it one time, and it has, if there's gun stuff out on the internet, it's either on our website, guncalendar.com, or is it Gun Calendars? I guess it's Gun Calendars plural, because we find it and we post it, but there's very few of the big calendar sites that tell you like today's cupcake day or tomorrow's pizza day or something like that, or today's national chocolate chip day or something. None of those will tell you gun events really. And the ones that tell you like this day in history, sometimes they'll tell you war stuff. And this page that we're using pretty much tells us war stuff. And then every once in a while, political stuff, and then stupid stuff like Jimmy Fallon. But then once in a while, it'll have a gun thing. But we supplement it with our own gun research. But anyway, I think it's neat, since we're doing a daily show, to try to let people know about stuff like that. Like yesterday being the birthday of the Air Force, maybe it lets you say, hey, happy birthday to one of your Air Force buddies that, makes his day or something. So hopefully it's helping you guys out by giving you these little pieces. And I don't know, give us some feedback if you find out about something, like it's chocolate day or something. Let us know, because we don't want to forget about something important like this. Yep, 9mm day, that's what we're saying.
Gross. I'm looking at this.
Talk like a pirate day today? I didn't think no. I guess I don't know what day it is, but I know there is a Talk Like a Pirate Day. I've never participated in it. Maybe.
There was this other site too that Ghost had shared with me, and it was this day in military history. I guess in '69, President Nixon announces the cancellation of draft, calls for November and December.
We should do that as a good idea, bad idea, the draft.
Yeah, that would be a good one, actually. You know what? Why don't we pencil that one in? Because I think I could talk about that.
I would say the death penalty, but I guess that has nothing to do with guns. All right, well, while he's penciling that in, I think we can pretty much wrap it up. We do appreciate everybody that listens to the show live. This makes it a lot more fun. We're trying to participate in new media. So we're not just doing a radio show and doing it on the internet. That's why we suck at this. We're not trying to be a radio show. We're trying to be the host of a conversation that takes place over on Gun Channels and I guess on YouTube every day at noon Eastern time. That makes it 9 a.m. Pacific. The idea is to be available for people that might be at work. It would be great if there was people out there that were doing creative jobs, you know, like Huck used to do, Nate over at the leather place. You know, they would jump in and join the chats while they were working. There's got to be people on third shifts and stuff that are available now just because they're, you know, this is the time when third shifters are sitting around drinking coffee or whatever, right? So we're trying to put shows out there at different times of the day, trying the different time slots. So again, we appreciate the people that are showing up and making that a success. We're definitely not seeing as many people now as we did when we were at the later shift, but we never saw as many people as Yankee gets. So we're not judging it based off of other time slots, but we obviously would like to see the show grow. So as we watch the numbers down there, we'd like to see them get at least back to where we were at the other time slot, and ideally into the hundreds of people. Hundreds of people will mean dozens of people can pay us a couple of bucks, you know, in the numbers. That's the way it works. When you get a larger audience, some amount of those people appreciate it enough to put a couple of bucks behind it. And then that would take us to a whole nother level. Right now, we're doing all this on the free. We're doing this as a hobby. And one of the ways to keep it going as a hobby, as an audience, would be to help encourage other listeners. And the easiest way to do that is just share the show. So that was my long way of saying, please share it, subscribe. I don't give a crap about the personal whatever, but you know, the thumbs up because of the personal thing as much as the using the systems. There's no way for the YouTube to know that this is a show worth listening to unless the people listening to it let the system know. So we encourage you to use those likes and thumbs. We got 12 people watching. We got 11 thumbs up. So I'm singing to the choir right now, but I'm also talking to the people that are watching this potentially in the future. So if this is something you enjoy, then give us some help. Give us a thumb up or a like. Even better yet, head over to Patreon. We do have a Patreon account. You can throw money at us. Money is power. Power means we can spend more time on this. And with that, I think unless Jimmy's got anything else, we usually wrap up with a quote.
Yeah, let's see here. Just real quick on tonight, because Tuesday's actually turning into a pretty busy night on Gun Channels.
Flew off without letting people know what's going on Gun Channels.
Yeah, so after us, either Punnery or Pants have been putting on lobbies, so there will be a lobby after the Daily Gun Show. Then after that, at 7 Eastern is Andalusia Armory. Then at 8 Eastern is Clover Tack. 9 Eastern is why do I forget that? Oh yeah, Hit or Miss. How could I forget that one? Hit or Miss Tuesdays 9 o'clock. And then after that, it is Tuesday.
Is Big Gunner 81. He comes in. Used to be in Illinois. He'd been doing some of the shows at Range 355. I finally went down there on my way out of Illinois. But now he does a show out of North Carolina, because Night Strike's in South Carolina, right? I think he's in the other, so North Carolina.
Right. Yeah, I forgot about Big Gunner show. Yeah, Rick's doing a show tonight, and that is going to be after Hit or Miss. So that's
he's on. I guess he's doing that State of 50. He's doing the 50 states of AR-15 build, and he was on the We Like Shooting show. So it's possible that he'll have them on his show one of these days. So if you're a fan of We Like Shooting, you might want to check it out and see a different angle on it if they're on Rick's show.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for doing that, because I almost forgot that, and that's definitely a big portion of why we do the show too, is to remember that there's other people out there creating content. Anybody that wants to give it a shot, it's free, it's easy, super easy. There's lots of people out there that'll give you help. Give it a shot. If it's something that you don't like to do, but you like to watch real people create real content that aren't trying to sell you anything or manipulating it into doing something you don't feel like doing, then head over to Gun Channels and check out some of the great efforts that people are putting out there on a weekly and sometimes daily basis. Thanks to Pants and Connery for doing the lobbies too. That's 100% effort. They just enjoy I'm assuming they enjoy the conversation, so they do a little extra to keep it going. We want to thank them for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And usually we end on a quote today, but we don't have one. So everybody out there, like G-Web said, remember to like, share, subscribe, help us out with that. Help out the other chat hosts. They put in a lot of effort.
Oh, I got a quote. I got a quote. Cool. At least a chunk of a quote from what I can remember. One of the books I like to listen to on the regular, at least once a month, sometimes even more than that if I'm doing a lot of walking, or like now when I'm driving and I got time to listen, is the Book of the Five Rings. I think it's called the Book of the Five Rings. But anyway, there's some different people who read it to you. It's an audio book. Get a couple of them and see which voice you like better, reading to you, and give it a shot with an open mind. It's a great book. It's written billions of years ago by a general fighter, and it's all just martial, or what would you say, not martial arts, but martial thoughts. It's a way to live life and be strong and true. So one of the 9 rules is do nothing that has no consequence, or something to that effect. So when you're doing stuff, go with intent. In other words, it's telling you to live life with intent, do things intentionally. Don't just be a drifter letting somebody else determine where you go. So do nothing which is of no consequence. That's our quote today. And that's by Ushasimi Fushibishubra, the guy who wrote that book a million years ago.
Oh, really? All right. Well, with that, we're going to wrap things up. And thanks again, everybody that's watching us live and interacting. And thank you, everybody that's watching us later. And we will see you guys tomorrow.
The guys and gals of GunWebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thanks for watching GunWebsites.com.